So what is the story of Ethereum? It's pretty simple. Ethereum started in 2014 and in January 2014 and was co-founded by Vitalik Buterin and Gavin Wood. And those are the two founders of Ethereum. And how it started, they did a crowd sale to gather money to get the Ethereum project started, right? So they first write a yellow paper, and then they went on and do a crowd sale, and they ended up raising how much money was it? 32,000 bitcoins. So that's just about $18 million. And so that was used to pay, some legal fees and, pay for the development of Ethereum since the beginning and then ongoing, right? So they have money, I believe, for about 5 years to pay for the development of Ethereum for 5 years right now. So it's great. They have a great, you have enough money to pay for that. And yeah, the team is amazing, right? I mean, Vitalik Buterin is a very, very smart guy. He's a Russian, but he was living in Canada. And Gavin Wood, I believe is an American, I believe is an American. And so, yeah, they both funded Ethereum. And Ethereum actually launched in July 2015. So, they did the whole development from 2014 and to get ready for it. In July 2015, they launched Ethereum, and then people started building application, right? So it's been, about 10 months at the time of this recording that Ethereum has been launched, and it's, they're still growing. There's a lot of things that they haven't figured out yet, right? They don't know how they're gonna scale the system, but they're not sure exactly which path and how it's gonna evolve, right? Because all these things need to be figured out still. I mean, it's new technology, and right now, it works. But if as more people come gonna use Ethereum, they need a way to scale it, right? And then scaling, that's what is a bit more complicated, because Ethereum, it's like a server that runs, but it's distributed, right? Obviously, it's not a centralized server. It's distributed on the blockchain, and everybody that downloads the Ethereum wallet is basically running a node. And those nodes, what they do is that they run the contracts, right? And they run Ethereum networks, right? Ethereum is basically a way to run application in a decentralized manner. So instead of running an application on the server, you run the application onto the blockchain. And so, whenever someone write a new application and put it on the blockchain, well, the blockchain gets bigger and bigger, and the blockchain needs to be fully downloaded by every node, right? So everybody that download Ethereum needs to have the full blockchain. And it gets bigger and bigger as more people use it, right? And so that's the problem, right? So if everybody in the world would start using Ethereum, my computer could not hold, the nodes, right? It'd be too big, right? You will need like a super big server to host it, and then you will lose the decentralized aspect of it, right? You could just host in a big server. So what they're gonna do, they want to do charting, which is basically splitting. Instead of having the whole nodes on my computer, I would just have part of it, and I will talk with other nodes, and then we would complete each other, right? And then I think there should be different layers, and but that's what needs to be figured out, and that's why Vitalik Buterin and Gavin Wood and all his team work very hard at right now and to figure these things out. But so that's basically the history of Ethereum and what's in it for the future. So also important things to keep in mind is that right now Ethereum is run through proof of work, which is kind of how it is exactly how Bitcoin works. It's basically computer resolve very hard very hard mathematical challenge, very mathematical equation, and then when you solve it, that's what when it's solved, that's how you can approve transaction, right? So that's how the network runs right now. So, but they want to change that to proof of stake, which instead of having a very hard mathematical equation solved by computer, it will just be through betting money, and people will bet money to know which transaction is okay, which transaction is valid or not. And we can read more about this onto Ethereum website. I'll put a link, but basically it's they're gonna use game theory to make that work, and in the sense that people will be losing more because they will put money at stake, right? They will put their own ether, right, a big amount, and then they will bet, and then if they bet the wrong, they'll be losing more money than how much they can make, right? And that way you will not need, because with Bitcoins, that's one of the problem about proof of work, is that it's become centralized, because people need to run, because the difficulty level of the equation is becoming harder and harder, and computer needs to be bigger and bigger to solve those equations. Before, someone with just a computer at home could solve those equations in Bitcoins, right? And now they need a big server, they need very powerful computers. So right now, I think 3 mining pools control like 40% of all the hashing power in Bitcoins, which means that they basically control all the computation that's being done to verify those transactions on the Bitcoin network. So that's really what Vitalik Buterin and his team, and Gavin Wood and his team want to solve, is that the centralization, right? They want to decentralize as much as possible. Proof of stake let do that, because all you'll need to do the validation is just put some of your money. And that's what's interesting, because that might make the price of Ether goes higher, because people need Ether, right? So you cannot just sell you Ether and then do proof of stake. No, you need to keep Ether, and you need a certain minimum, like 1,000 Ether. I don't remember what was the exact number, but a big enough amount, and then you'll be able to stake your Ether and bet in the system. So it's very interesting. I'm looking forward to see what's going to happen with all this. And but yeah, that's the full history of Ether. And again, there's so many things that's going to come up in the future, and I'll try to keep this course as updated as possible. And yes, that's about it.